Hello my love, thanks for tuning in for another video. If you clicked, you're a future millionaire. Congratulations, your millions are waiting for you. Now, what makes me the expert to talk about being a future millionaire and why I know for a fact that manifesting your wealth is easier than you think? Well, I have created the life that I've always dreamed of. I have a freedom of time. I have the freedom to pick when I get to work and when I do not get to work, and everything is pretty much taken care of for me. I had a chance to talk to myself 10 years ago. This lifestyle was something that I begged and dreamed of having, and now that I'm here, I know I could help at least a few people, help them get the life that they want, and show them how easy it is once you learn a few critical steps to get there. In today's video, I'm going to list out a few tips, some realizations that I have that's going to help take me to the next level to get my first 100K, then 200K, then 300K, then first million. I'm sure of it. First, I need you to define what your wealthy lifestyle looks like to you, not to anyone else. A lot of what we get about a wealthy lifestyle is based upon the images that we see in the media. Everything is over exaggerated, everything is idealized, everything is dramatized to entertain you, to get you to come back and looking for more. And what I had learned along the way is, does my wealth look like a dollar amount, or is there a feeling associated to it? Does wealth look like a freedom of time to you? Do you have a wealth of time to do whatever you want? Is your wealthy lifestyle consisting of having absolutely no debt and you want to pay cash for everything because you just have it in your bank account? Does your wealthy lifestyle look like what you see on TV? That's okay too. Don't have any shame about wanting a lifestyle that may look very dramatized, or you can go into Louis Vuitton and Chanel and pick out 10 bags that day if you wanted to. The point is to get really clear on those goals, on what you think a wealthy lifestyle would look for yourself. We don't want to rely on what someone else put into our psyche. Naturally, if somebody else gave you that, then you will be playing into their game. So you have to be really careful about that one. I had to sit there and think, well, what does my wealthy lifestyle look? And I don't want to mention, I don't want a house that is too big that I can't manage. I want something cozy. I want to be able to pay off the house, if not right then and there, then in 5 years or less. To me, that is a wealthy lifestyle. Not many people can do it. So that is something that is very heart-centered and dear and precious to me. Owning land is something that I believe is something that my wealthy lifestyle will look like. So I don't have to keep nickel and diamond and paying taxes on something. I would truly own the land. Those are just a few things that I want you to think about. Also, a lot of times we think that more money and more material things will help us feel better. A lot of times we want to become wealthy just to get rid of those feelings of shame and embarrassment and humiliation, maybe being in poverty or not having as much as the next person has got us into. Sometimes we think that becoming wealthy will make us feel better about the person we are on the inside, the person that we don't want to share. Sometimes we're chasing a feeling of satisfaction. Sometimes we're chasing a feeling of success. Sometimes we're chasing a feeling of recognition. So I need you to ask yourself, what am I hiding? If you don't feel recognized, then there's somewhere you're probably hiding. If you don't feel a level of success, then you need to look at the places in your life where you may have failed. Sometimes we have the habit of thinking our failures are bigger than what they are and forgiving yourself for those failures. And answer these questions truthfully. You'll start to deal with the real reason why you're looking for this arbitrary number. I think a lot of times what happens with goals is when we hit the goals, we don't end up chasing a new one. That's why the challenge of what do I think the money and the material objects will compensate for these feelings that I have deep inside of me. Another thing I'm going to ask you to do as a fellow future millionaire is to look at where you're afraid to take risks. I remember before I started this YouTube, really trying to take it seriously, I said I thought I was too fat to do anything. I was so afraid to share myself. I knew I was gonna make a fool of myself either way it was gonna go, because I was a beginner and I didn't want to look foolish. You kind of have to look foolish in order to learn from it. You have to kind of make your big mistakes and have something or somebody correct you along the way. I thought I couldn't get the man that I wanted or the life that I wanted because I just didn't fit into the mold of what I constantly see. That's just been proven to not be true. It was just another way to scare myself out of going after something that was truly in my heart. I decided I wanted to make these YouTube videos because I just wanted to do something creative. Now, I'm not too worried about views. Don't get me wrong, my brain starts to shuffle and I start to think about oh, we'll get more views and things like that. But I don't let that stop me. I let the creative process take over. I let the excitement of taking the risk to take over. I get excited when I feel like I'm daring myself to be bolder than I was last week or a few minutes ago. I don't sit there anymore and wonder about the what ifs. I just dive right in. Once I started to take more risk and I forgot about the end goal, so I started to just really have fun with it and be like, oh, okay, I can do this. I can sit in front of the camera and I can get used to seeing myself and talking to myself, no matter how ridiculous I may think I may sound. It doesn't matter anymore. I'm going to take this risk. I'm going to feel good about whatever the outcome is. Just put it out there. Once I started to take more risk here, I started to see that I was willing to take more risk in other areas. You'll start to see that your money, your opportunities will start to increase. And you'll start earning more. You'll start making the connections that you need to build the building blocks in your business. You'll start seeing that because you were able to put yourself out there more. You were able to say, I am scared, but I'm going to do it anyway. And that's how millionaires are made. They took a risk, a big risk, and they didn't care how silly they looked. So once you start taking more risk, you're gonna watch your bank accounts increase. And for you to be able to see opportunities way more clear than you'd ever see before, because you don't have fear as your goggles anymore. And once you start doing that, you start building in trust and confidence in yourself and your innate abilities to say, hey, I'm gonna let the world see and I'm gonna try. And I'm going to avoid the fear of looking foolish, because guess what? It's inevitable in this rise to getting your wealth. You're gonna look a little foolish, you're gonna make plenty of mistakes, so you might as well get used to failing now instead of imagining these failures and never getting started in the first place and conjuring up all these dream scenarios instead of getting inside of real experience to see like, oh, it's not that bad. I can do this. I trust in my abilities, I trust in myself to just keep going on this path because this vision was given to me, so it's all yours. Next, you're gonna stop treating your desires as problems to be solved. Amina Irfan says this quite a bit, and at first I didn't understand until I really finally got it. A lot of times we treat our desires like it's the flu or it is a sickness or it's an imperfection within ourselves, that we think of our desires as something to treat like a math equation, and it's simply not the case. We don't need to try to perfect our desires. We don't need to try to beat our desires into submission. What you want is already yours. If you were already given the drive and the determination and that taste of what that vision would look like inside of you, and if a desire already manifests inside of you, that means number one, it's more than possible, and number two, you're more than capable of receiving that desire. So you already have it. There's no need to keep trying to chase after a solution. The problem is already solved. The desire is already yours. Neville Goddard says this a lot. If you follow the law of attraction community, already yours. You need to know that it's already yours. Not believe, you need to know that whatever it is that was placed in your heart, it is already yours. So calm down and relax into it. Let the next step show you. Let the next step on the path of the journey appear to you, rather than you trying to race towards the end to solve this imaginary issue. All right, next one. Open yourself up to the possibilities. Society is increasingly trying to get rid of gray areas and have everything be black and white. It is increasingly trying to subdue your imagination and creativity. People that think they're in charge are steadily trying to become the authority on new ideas and innovation. Wealthy got wealthy because they dared to dream of solutions to problems that needed to be solved. They thought way bigger and outside of all the boxes of their current times, right? They imagined a thought so big and they stuck with that vision no matter what. It didn't matter how many times they failed. I think Thomas Edison is quoted for saying something along the lines of, he didn't fail 3,000 times making a light bulb. He just had to figure out 3,000 times how to make the light bulb better or something like that. And it paid off, obviously. It still is one of the best innovations in our time that we've seen in modern history. But think about it, if he gave up the first 5 or 6 times that he was meant to create the light bulb, somebody else would have probably came up with the idea, but he wouldn't have gotten as far as he did if he didn't open himself up to the possibilities to make his first true idea work and make his vision come into reality. He didn't get stuck with I only have 2 options. He said, well, I got 2,998 options for this one to work. That's what you have to keep in mind. Don't get stuck in either or thinking, because your brain is gonna naturally look for it either has to be this or that. Well, how about this or that and that and this and this and that? Like, there's more than one solution to one problem. So your job is to open yourself up to every single one of those possibilities, because there's more than one solution to your wrong problem. You just got to open yourself up to what that may be. I'm hot. I'm dewy. I'm just gonna call it dewy. So this last one in my video I'm gonna touch on is called knowing the difference between ego and your heart. You need to know the difference between when your ego is speaking to you and when your heart is speaking to you. The biggest way to know if your ego is speaking to you is that it will create all those scenarios that keep you scared. So maybe you came up with the idea to come up with a hologram phone, right? The way you would know your ego is trying to stop from trying to develop that idea or even get started is that it'll come up with 50 ways that you will fail. Your mom won't like it. You're not smart enough. You don't have enough friends. You don't have enough connections. How are you going to put this out there? Nobody wants an iPhone hologram or thingamabob, whatever it is your dream to come up. Your ego is always going to try to talk you out of it. The ego's job is to keep you safe, and it keeps you safe in the realm of the known. Once you start thinking about opportunity and scenarios in the unknown, that's where the ego goes, nope, we have to stop. Hard stop on this one, because now you're into something that I don't know. The ego knows everything that you've been around. It knows your fears, it knows your hopes and your dreams, and it will keep you complacent right where you are. Something that comes from the heart, it's not afraid of the unknown. It just knows what it knows. It knows without a doubt that I need to make this, or I need to attempt to try to make this iPhone hologram, because it's the only thing that really ever made my eyes light up. It's the only thing that ever made me feel a sense of joy, a sense of passion. I know it with all my heart that I need to go in this direction, and it doesn't care of where it's going to be led. It just wants to go. It just wants to go there. Another way to know if it is ego getting in the way, you start thinking about all the status symbols and the moment where you get to tell your mom and dad or whoever else doubted you, like, you were wrong, I was right. Shove it in your face how right I was about my dream. Once you start thinking about that and it comes up, that's how you know your ego is talking. You need to tell your ego, like, man, I know that would feel so satisfactory to get that off on whoever had doubted me, but I didn't do it for that. I'm doing it because I don't know what else to do. Once I started my journey of, being self-employed, I had tried everything everybody had told me to try, and none of it gave me the satisfaction that this has given me right now, and I still get a lot of flack for it. Their fears are rooted in love, so you have to forgive the people that might not understand, and that's part of the journey. But also forgive yourself for not understanding where you're going as well. Sometimes you're gonna have those doubts and just be like, you know what, I know you love me so much that you'll do anything to protect me, but we still have to go and see where this is taking us, because I can't go back to what I already know. Can't do it. It's costing too much. It's too expensive to stay in the same space. Tell your ego you are right. That would make me feel so much better than to sit here and not do anything, to not do what I put down on my to-do list, to procrastinate on this task one more minute longer. But I'm going to go after my dream and my vision for one reason, because it's my birthright to do so. You owe it to yourself to give yourself the chance to show what you made of, that damn, at least I tried, and to see where it takes you. All right, my future millionaires, now we're gonna go out there and you're gonna let the path reveal itself to you. No more fear, no more holding back. We're gonna walk on this road one brick at a time. So thank you for joining me in my video today. If you like this, like, subscribe, and share with other people, share with other future millionaires. And then when you get your first million, let me know. Let me know if this video helped you out. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.